Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and yes, as I teased in the last review, yeah, because you knew, and because I pretty much gave it away, that's right. Paul Reubens, the late legendary Paul Reubens, made a big name of himself with his beloved character Pee Wee Herman in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then afterwards, doing the movie, his character would take off even bigger with Pee-wee's Playhouse. And a couple years later, and even when, because Pee-wee's Playhouse was still going on, well, sure enough, Pee-wee himself would get another movie of his, with 1988's Big Top Pee-wee. Yes, Big Top Pee-wee. And technically not a sequel, a direct sequel to Pee-wee's Big Adventure. In fact, pretty much the whole Pee Wee Herman movie trilogy, like all three movies, they're not connected. It's like, they're their own thing, and, like different, worlds for Pee-wee, I guess you could say. Because, this Pee Wee Herman film being all about, a farm and a circus, so much happening in this. Alright, so as always, I'll go ahead and read the description / the story. Playful Pee Wee Herman, played by the late legendary Paul Reubens, operates a fantastical farm with talking animals and hot dog trees. One day, after a giant tornado hits, Pee-wee finds a circus has landed in his yard. He befriends the manager, Mace Montana, played by Chris Christopherson, and develops a crush on a trapeze performer, played by Valeria Golino. I hope I'm saying her last name right. Even though he already has a fiancée, played by Penelope Ann Miller, Pee-wee tries to excite the town about the new circus, but most of the residents want it gone and harass Pee-wee because of it. So first off, I gotta say, Big Top Pee-wee is, kind of a short movie, and, because, I think the same goes for the other Pee Wee Herman films. They're not, long films, even though they are, 1 hour, just saying. But yeah, Pee-wee, who lives on a farm, and he has, farm animals, of course, and one of his main farm animals named Vance, who's a pig, and Vance the pig is voiced by Wayne White, and Wayne White, I think, he has some not only did he voice Vance the pig, but he also did something else for this movie. I think he was an art director or something, art designer. I don't know. I swear, I think I'm about right, doing something with artwork and so on for this movie. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, because Vance the pig talking. In fact, he's the only farm animal that ever talks in this movie. And just a little bit later, and when they're in Pee-wee's farm patch, where he basically plants some interesting plants, because he created a hot dog tree. Yeah, that's where Vance talks, okay, Pee-wee. I think, I got the voice down. Where Pee-wee lives, the town that he goes to, both him and Vance, and he was going to have lunch with his fiancée, Winnie, again, played by Penelope Ann Miller. The townspeople just hate Pee-wee. They hate his personality. He doesn't fit in their town. And the town people are a bunch of, pardon my French, it's true, they're a bunch of assholes, They just can't accept Pee-wee and his craziness. In fact, Pee-wee does have his moments where how he feels about being treated by them, and how, at a supermarket or whatever, he is hungry and he wants a sandwich, and oh my gosh, and his fiancée, Winnie, because I guess she's just a little bit of a handful for Pee-wee, especially because, I don't know, when they're having lunch and, I guess from her sandwich it spills on Pee-wee's face, and there's one point where he uses her dress to wipe it off, and then, boom, in the next shot, it's gone. It's one of those things in some movies, in the next shot, something like that is no longer there. You get my point. So, and a little bit later, because the sheriff of that town informs everybody that a tornado is arriving, and even like when Pee-wee is asking someone to lend him and Vance a ride back to the farm, well, he gets turned down. It shows you, because oh my gosh. And, well, why did Pee-wee move to that place anyways? I mean, and by the way, nobody bothers him at first because he's happily living all by himself with his farm animals, at his house and his farm. But Pee-wee and Vance, they make their way back to the house and, rounding up all of the farm animals to get into, like, the shelter, down below. And, they're all right. And by the way, because, the farm animals have a good personality. And I gotta say, like, they did a really good job for this movie, like, how well trained the animals are in their acting, you know what I'm saying? And they did a pretty good job, like, when it came to Vance talking and his mouth moving. Like, they did a pretty good job on that. And at the time, like, trying to make animals talk, I mean, like, look at, say, some of, like, what Disney did in some of their movies, like in the Shaggy Dog sequel, or how they made Zachary Binks talk in Hocus Pocus, and also the movie Babe, so, that, or Charlotte's Web. So, anyways, so, the tornado has passed, and basically, because, like, the sun rises, like, obviously, because, again, the tornado passing, and the clouds, are out, and nice sunny day, and when Pee-wee steps out, a circus, happens to be right there, smack down, in his farmhouse, and so on, because of what the tornado did, like, apparently because the tornado, like, took the circus with it, like, and just happened to just drop it right there. Drop the circus right where Pee-wee lives. And sure enough, because Pee-wee starts to befriend the circus people, and again, the boss / the leader of the circus group, Mace Montana, played by Chris Christopherson, and also, because, some of the circus members are pretty interesting ones, like, there's, Midge Montana, Mace Montana's wife, who is very tiny, the tiniest woman, played by Susan Tyrrell. I think I got her last name right. And there's also, like, 4 brothers, 4, like, acrobatic brothers, and there's also Duke the Dog-Faced Boy, as he's credited, played by Benicio del Toro. And this was Benicio del Toro's, first acting job. This was his first movie, and boy, what would come for Benicio del Toro in the years to come, like, I tell ya. This is where he started, like, hard to believe. And hey, it's thanks to Pee-wee Herman for, kicking his career and so on. Duke, the dog-faced boy. There's also Big John, played by the late legendary Kevin Peter Hall, a.k.a. the Predator, and Harry Henderson. Yep, that's him. And he's, because he is most famous for, doing some giant, tall monster creatures, like, most notably, the Predator. So, and there's also Zelda, the Bearded Lady, Del, Human Cannonball, as he's credited. There was also a little person as well. I forget the name of that. I'm not sure. Like, I don't see. But there's also, there's other circus members. There's a Snowball, who's a clown. And there's Clowny, and there's Oscar, the lion tamer, and because there was a moment where Pee-wee encountered the lion, and sure enough, like, Pee-wee happened to have, befriended the lion and not get eaten, so good for Pee-wee. Made peace with the lion, that is. And also, there was someone else, Shim, half man, half woman. Because we do see Shim a little bit later. It's pretty funny. And then we, of course, get the trapeze artist. Gina Papula. I don't know if I'm even saying her last name right. played by Valeria Golino. Yeah, I think I am saying her full name right. And sure enough, but, slowly but surely, Pee-wee starts to have an attraction for Gina. And sure enough, because when Mace fully introduced Pee-wee to Gina, and because, Pee-wee just looking straight at her boobs and, he's just getting a tingling feeling. And, the thing about Pee-wee and how he is over women, because, well, as it's clearly obvious in the first Pee Wee Herman film, because he's not finding that attractive. He's not, he's just finding it gross and just ugh, because of What's-Her-Face, who liked Pee-wee and, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you know what I'm talking about. But in this, I guess you could say that Pee-wee is growing up. He is a man-child, so I think, yeah, by this film, he's starting to but surely grow up. So I think, yeah, that's a good example. But anyways, then sure enough, everybody of the circus and Pee-wee tagging along, they head into town and, basically, letting the residents know and introducing themselves and that, they want to give them, the best show that they can do. But the townspeople, they're having none of it. They don't want the circus present and so on. They have to deal with that and not just Pee-wee. And so they head back to Pee-wee's farm. They literally, because all the wagons that they had, they had to turn them around, And of course, Mace is distraught by this. And, at that scene where Mace is talking about, trying to put on a good show and nobody would want to have a circus. And Pee-wee going on saying, "What do you mean by that, Mace?" And the next day, because, Pee-wee was going to have lunch with Winnie, but he got distracted by Gina, and also an elephant accompanying Gina. And sure enough, Pee-wee took an elephant ride with Gina, and the circus members trying to, get something to eat, get some supplies, in town. But of course, the townspeople being horrible to them, they don't want them to have anything and so on, not even serve them, just nothing. And sure enough, Winnie stepping in, and she offers to help them in getting all the supplies that they need. And, she is introduced to all the members, most of the members of the circus that are there in town. And of course, introduced to those 4 acrobatic brothers, I think, yeah, because the acrobatic brothers. I'm not really sure because, obviously they're credited, but I'm not really sure if, and, I'm sorry if I don't really, can't remember the name of the group of the brothers, but, so afterwards, because, they tell Winnie that, because they're staying at Pee-wee's residence, his farmhouse, and, she happened to was going to have lunch with Pee-wee, and they offer her a ride. And then we cut back to seeing, more with Pee-wee and Gina, and they start to, look at the clouds and what they're, what they look like. In fact, because the same thing that happened with Pee-wee and Winnie early in the film, because, Pee-wee pointing out the clouds that it looks like this and that, and Winnie couldn't see that. But when Gina pointed them out, yeah, Pee-wee saw it too. And that's when, the other cloud that they see, it looks, as Pee-wee says, it looks like a man and woman kissing, and thus they kiss, and it goes on for, I think, maybe just about 1 minute, and the music, playing romantic and so on. And when it did stop, there's one moment where the music stopped, and it started again. That's funny. That is funny. And sure enough, Winnie showing up, and she is devastated to what she is seeing, Pee-wee, and throwing the sandwich, and Gina asking who that was, and Pee-wee telling Gina that, that was Winnie, his fiancée, and of course Gina is pissed at Pee-wee, and technically us audiences would be pissed off at Pee-wee too, but, he's a man-child and such, so, yeah. go figure. And, you know, at one point, yeah, because Gina slapped Pee-wee in the face. And then later that evening, and when Pee-wee's trying to talk to Gina, but she's not having it, we do see the slap mark on Pee-wee. Like, that's funny. And by the way, very early on, and before, you know, the moment happened with Gina and Pee-wee, Pee-wee and Mace, you know, having a conversation and such, and at one point, Pee-wee took Mace to show him what he was, you know, making and planting, and thus, you know, the hot dog tree. And that sure enough gave Mace an idea for something new for the circus, and thus he makes the announcement of, you know, making an update to the circus and making it much better and brand new by, you know, incorporating farm stuff to it, yeah. And of course, yeah, thanks to Pee-wee, because, you know, he did shaping things up for the circus group, and of course, you know, helping them out so far and so on. And then the next day, because, you know, still, Gina wants nothing to do with Pee-wee. In fact, yeah, Pee-wee does have a moment with Mace, like getting advice, you know, and also getting some advice, too, from Vance. Yeah, Vance, yeah, that's right, yeah, Vance the pig. I was almost thinking of Val, but no, Vance. That's the pig's name. In fact, speaking of Vance, well, someone fell for Vance. And that, well, you think that maybe it's a pig, but no, it's a hippo. A hippo falls for Vance, who's a pig, and Vance just running away because, like, you know, uh-oh, like, here she comes, like, oh my gosh. Now that's funny, and just like, what? I think for some audiences who would watch this for the first time, I have no doubt. And then later on, Pee-wee, you know, trying to apologize to Gina. And actually, before he went to Gina, because he tried to, you know, he went to apologize and make amends with Winnie. And yeah, as Winnie says to Pee-wee, the engagement is off. And, well, it didn't take her too long to find someone new. The 4 acrobatic brothers. Yeah, she falls for all 4 of them. Like, what? It's funny and just strange. Hey, that's what happens when it comes to something in the Pee-wee franchise, I guess you could say. So yeah, and when Pee-wee goes to apologize to Gina and show his affection to her, well, because, you know, he's trying to sing in her language, you know, and, yeah, because, of course, she's still not having it, but Pee-wee, you know, assures her that, yeah, because he talked with Winnie, yeah, because it's over between him and Winnie, and, you know, trying to say to Gina that, yeah, because he was thinking about her and showing his true affections to her and trying to say, and of course he does say, I love you, yeah. And of course, yeah, he feels better and relieved after saying that. And, well, that escalated quickly for Gina, because the next day, yeah, because Gina laughing at Pee-wee because, you know, there's something about Pee-wee that she's never seen before, like, you know, and, you know, even Mace, like, you know, saying to Gina about, like, you know, being in love with one of the clowns, and Gina's saying, you know, clowns aren't funny. Yeah, I mean, to some people, like, nobody likes clowns, so... but yeah, because Pee-wee, of course, not being a clown, because there's something about Pee-wee and his personality, his humor. It's true, you know? There's something about the character of Pee-wee Herman, slow down, where, yeah, he has a good sense of humor, and he's just freaking hilarious. Like, yeah, because he is. Yeah, because Pee-wee, at one point, he's trying to find an act that he can do in the circus, and of course, Gina, helping out Pee-wee, trying to find an act that he can do in the circus. And yeah, still, because, like, with the residents, the townspeople, because at one point, a couple of them are spying on the circus people, and they see, yeah, Pee-wee, you know, and he's got a couple of monkeys, you know, surrounding him, and at one point, the female hippo, who's chasing after Vance, happens to be right behind them, and, well, that scares them off, so, yeah, and more moments with Pee-wee and Gina. And especially because, like, at one point, yeah, because, with Pee-wee still trying to find an act that he can do and if he has it in him, but no luck, unfortunately. In fact, there's some pretty good slapstick and, funny stuff when he's trying to do an act, like, do like what Gina does, trapeze performance or being shot from a cannon. Even when the cannon fires, like, he doesn't go shooting out of the cannon. He's still in the cannon. Poor Pee-wee. Also, like, other ones that he does, like, with a rope and stuff like that. But yeah, there's nothing that he can find that he can do for the circus. And, he basically feels like giving up, but Gina, inviting Pee-wee to, like, her little, like, wagon, dressing room, for circus performers. They have their own kind of, like, wagons, what I'm talking about. Basically, Gina shows Pee-wee, a suit that her late father used to wear. And obviously, yeah, her father, let me see, because her father's name being Paolo. Yeah, I think that's right. Even though, like, we never see her father, he's still credited. Her father was played by Andrew Shalat. I think I am saying the last name right. And unfortunately, like, yeah, because her father had a tragic accident while performing, and yeah, it's unfortunate. And Pee-wee, of course, comforting her, and, she's telling Pee-wee that, very soon, because, like, the circus will leave, and, Pee-wee still, where he is, but, Pee-wee wants to join them and be with her, and, even, Gina at one point asked Pee-wee, what would you have in the circus? And, Pee-wee said, you. And, Gina feels that it wouldn't work, and how, she's, like, forcing him to leave what he has behind, but no, like, even Pee-wee assures her that she hasn't done anything. It's Pee-wee's decision. It's what he wants. And I think, yeah, because he's better off being a part of the circus and being with him. They're his kind of people, especially, how he doesn't fit, with the town residents, and especially how the town residents, the townspeople, I should say, how not only how they treat Pee-wee, but how they've been treating the circus people as well. Man, and because, again, it's clear right there that they're meant for each other, and Pee-wee rightfully belongs with the circus people. And sure enough, Pee-wee and Gina, they go at it, and it's pretty funny because we then get a little montage. It indicates that they're you-know-what, like, especially a train going in the tunnel, fireworks shooting off, two women mud wrestling. Oh my gosh, right there, because, again, like, Pee-wee's starting to grow up. Man. And, of course, Pee-wee the next morning is in a happy mood. He's in the uniform that, Gina's father used to wear. And that's another thing I almost forgot to mention. According to Gina, her father said to her that, give this to the man who you will fall in love with. And, of course, that being Pee-wee, because she found the right man for her. And, of course, Pee-wee found, the proper right girl for him. So, yeah. And then a little bit later, because at one point, Pee-wee checking on his hot dog tree and all the plants, and, especially when, earlier, because when he showed Mace, the hot dog tree and so on, there was one spot on the top shelf where it was an empty spot, and, for the Nobel Prize that I don't think he ever got to win, or maybe he did, who knows? The movie never establishes that. It's one of those things. And then he happens to see Winnie, now a part of the circus, now, performing and having that act like, all four, acrobatic brothers have, And, things between Pee-wee and Winnie are perfectly fine. They're now good friends, and, they like each other still. Yeah, everything's been okay between them, and that's good. And then a little bit later, and to speed things up, sure enough, the circus is ready to put on a performance. The circus members putting out flyers around the town. But of course, the townspeople, they're not having it, even like these two old ladies, like, ripping them off the walls, and they report this to the sheriff. And then later that night, the townspeople, there's not that many, they basically, it's an angry mob. They come to the circus, and basically, the sheriff tells Pee-wee that he's under arrest, and yet Pee-wee has done nothing to them. They're bringing this upon themselves. You get my point? Jeez, they really need to get a grip, and sure enough, they do. Until I get to that. And so basically they're threatening the circus people and Pee-wee that, they have to leave, or, and they won't press charges and so on. And, Mace feels that there's nothing that they can do, and they have no choice but to leave. But Pee-wee assures Mace that he can do something. He can convince the townspeople, he hopes that he can. And thus, boom, you see the look on his face, he gets an idea. Both he and Vance, they grab the hot dogs that were on the hot dog tree. At one point, they shrunk. Now they're just tiny wieners. And Pee-wee basically tricking the townspeople because the townspeople are celebrating, because they're finally getting rid of the circus and Pee-wee. And Pee-wee tricking them into thinking that, he's going to be just like them. And, joining their party and offering them like little wieners. And when the townspeople eat the wieners, that has an effect on them. They shrink down and become kids. Like, okay. And when did Pee-wee even knew that they could do that? I don't know. Maybe some side effect or something. And we probably didn't see it on screen. But he'd have to know. And when he and Vance went to get the hot dogs now that they've shrunk. And sure enough, yeah, because now that the townspeople are kids, well, they're much better now, and it's like, they're reborn. And Pee-wee mentioning them that, the circus is happening, and thus, they want to come to the circus. And thus, the ending to the film, we finally see the circus happening. And, I do like the song that's played. And, yeah, because, like, da, 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 da. Yeah, it's pretty good. In each of the circus members coming out, singing their part. And even Vance, singing about him and, his lady hippo. And of course, yeah, Pee-wee and Gina being the last ones to come out. And actually right before them, because, yeah, Winnie had her singing part. And basically she's engaged to, all 4 acrobatic brothers and showing off the 4 rings. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is funny, some good humor. And by the way, the songs, like, yeah, because again, there's that, and I forgot to mention this. The opening to this movie was pretty interesting because not what you would expect at first. Like what's happening here? Because Pee-wee is performing, like a song, and all the girls are freaking out and they're screaming at him, over him, and when he's trying to leave and he's disguised as Abraham Lincoln, all the group of girls, fall for this and they think it's Abraham Lincoln, and even asking for his autograph. But sure enough, like the Lincoln wig, comes off, and they find out it's Pee-wee, and he escapes by flying, and it turns out it was a dream. So yeah. And by the way, because even Pee-wee sings a little bit of Old MacDonald, like, instead of Old MacDonald, it's Pee-wee Herman had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. It's funny. But back to the ending, because yeah, the song number that the circus members and Pee-wee sing, and then we finally see Pee-wee doing an act by, acrobating on a tiny string. I'm talking about, like that. And he does that little dance that he did in the first Pee-wee Herman film, and with the music, da-dun, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that. But of course, in this, like, that's played in, like, circus music, circus music. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. But it was nice to hear that again, and, like, that's an iconic dance move that, Pee-wee does with the music. So, yeah. And so, yeah, Pee-wee is all right. He finally found an act that he can do in the circus. And, of course, Everybody gets a happy ending, especially Pee-wee and Gina. And right as they make their way up to the camera, of course, they go for a kiss, and then, you know, one last shot where Pee-wee looks at us, like, breaking the fourth wall and looking at us audience, and yeah, just Gina kissing him all over his face, and yeah, because Pee-wee for sure got the girl. Like, yeah, what a way to end the film right there. Also, apparently, there was an end credits scene. Even when I watched the film, like, apparently there's an end credits scene with, you know, that animation, like, at, you know, at the cinema, you know, let's all go to the lobby, that. But it's a different song, like, what was that about? Like, why is that in the movie? And that plays right before it ends with the Paramount logo. Like, I don't know. That was okay. That was random. I guess that's what you would expect, I guess, from the Pee Wee Herman franchise. Yeah, and also, I'd like to also mention, because, yeah, Big Top Pee-wee, you know, being distributed by Paramount Pictures, and I read that, well, first off, yeah, because Danny Elfman returned to do the music and score for the second Pee Wee Herman film, and I read that, unfortunately, they weren't able to use the theme music from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Like, obviously, it's the, you know, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, that. They couldn't get the rights from Warner Brothers. Well, I mean, it's fine, and besides, like, you know, need a new piece of theme music for this Pee Wee Herman film. Like, it makes sense. So, yeah. And, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, even though, yeah, it was nice that Danny Elfman came back, Tim Burton didn't come back to direct this. Well, and obviously, at that time, he was busy making Beetlejuice and Batman. So, I'm not really sure, like, I don't think he was even producer. Like, I don't think so. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, because no, I'm looking at it, of course, on the tablet, as I always have, and always having IMDb up. Yep, Tim Burton, he was not producer. I mean, although, yeah, Paul Rubens was producer, obviously, and, you know, him being one of the writers. Also, the lion and the elephant, yeah, because I remember their names now. They are credited, although they're uncredited. The lion's name was Sudden, yeah, and the elephant's name was Ty, yeah. The one elephant that accompanied Gina at times. So yeah, there's that. Big Top Pee-wee, I think, is a pretty enjoyable and decent Pee Wee Herman film. Obviously, this and the next Pee Wee Herman film that would come, you know, they obviously cannot top off the very first Pee Wee Herman film, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But, you know, they are what they are, and, you know, for this, you know, being its own Pee Wee Herman film, you know, and, you know, it may not be the best Pee Wee Herman film, and no doubt about it, because it is underrated, but to me, I think it's cute, fun, enjoyable, and very entertaining for the whole family. And I'm giving Big Top Pee-wee 7 out of 10 stars. Yes, 7 out of 10 stars for Big Top Pee-wee. And what about you guys? What do you think of Big Top Pee-wee itself? Like, is it your favorite Pee Wee Herman film? Do you think, yeah, the storytelling is good? Like, you know, the funny moments are good and funny, and the emotional moments? Because, yeah, this film did a really good job with its funny moments and emotional moments, as I pointed out. And what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Big Top Pee-wee. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. And stay tuned later this week, because the next film I'm going to be reviewing, well, it's an animated film about dinosaurs, and John Goodman happens to voice a T-Rex. You probably know what I'm talking about. Stay tuned for that. Take care, peace out, and rest in peace, Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman.